What's going on, guys? Welcome to my top 10 favorite superheroes. This was requested by Eddie Brock Venom, and I'm gonna say it right now. It's about damn time I do a video like this. I bet some of you have been waiting for this video for a long time. Before I start the video, I want to know what your guys' favorite superheroes are. Top 10 in the comments below. So without further ado, let's get started. Coming up at my number 10 is Green Lantern. And no, not the terrible movie that Ryan Reynolds even hates. And no, not even Hal Jordan. I'm talking about Jon Stewart. Now, when I was growing up, I watched the Justice League series, and I always preferred Jon Stewart because we got a lot of episodes we got an episode one time of him like without his ring and in like an army type of setting again, and it was kind of cool to see his training and army training and stuff like that. Hal Jordan, you don't really get to see that. Hal Jordan, he was a pilot and stuff like that, but for me, I always preferred like Jon Stewart because he's more with the army, and that's what the Green Lantern Corps kind of is. They're like an army of Green Lantern, and I always felt that that's why it worked for Jon Stewart's character, because he himself was in the army, but he's in a different army, the Green Lantern Corps, and that's why he is. But the reason why he's my favorite is because I always thought it was cool how he can, if he has enough willpower, he can be one of the strongest heroes in the DC roster. Maybe he can even sometimes go toe to toe with Superman, even though that he doesn't always win those fights. But still, a good fight nonetheless. And coming up at my number 9 is Iron Man. Now, the first time I saw Iron Man was in the animated Spider-Man the animated series, and there was like this whole mystery of like, ooh, who's Iron Man? And I started to like Iron Man through that show. Spider-Man the animated series was one of those shows that introduced me to a lot of the Marvel hero characters that I know and love today. One of them being Iron Man. And then that's when I started liking Iron Man. And then I saw the Invincible Iron Man movie, which it was okay. It was okay. I didn't like the whole thing at the end of the movie, but I think it was an okay movie overall. But then I saw Iron Man 1, and that movie really made me an Iron Man fan. But then as his character progressed, he became a little bit of a douche. Even in Civil War, I didn't like him so much because of him making Spider-Man join the Accords and all. I just didn't like that. That just completely turned me off, and it just made me dislike his character. But the reason why I like Iron Man is I like the idea of he's making this suit of armor, and he has this thing in his chest that keeps him alive from the shrapnel going into his heart. Like, I just like the whole idea and the whole concept of Iron Man, and I love it when he's like, I am Iron Man, even though Batman would be like, I'm Batman. But yeah, I really like Iron Man. And coming up at my number 8 is a surprising one. This one, I bet a lot of you didn't see coming. My number 8 is Rorschach. I didn't know who the hell this guy was until I saw the Watchmen movie. And when I watched the movie, I really liked Rorschach. Rorschach was my favorite character in that Watchmen movie. And eventually, I even played the game on the 360, and I really, really like him as a character. He kind of reminds me of Batman, but like, what if Batman crossed the line type of thing. And I just like the fact, he's got a journal. He writes in what's going on in the world, in the city. I like that he still wins at the end of the movie, even though he, not going to spoil anything, but yeah, he gets wrecked. But I'm not confirming or denying he died in that movie, but just watch the movie if you didn't see it. But yeah, I really like Rorschach. I like the idea of him kind of being like a real life superhero and what it would be like to be a real life superhero, and that's probably why I like Watchmen, because it's in the setting of what if this was real life. What would a superhero really be like in real life? And I think he's an example of that. One of the reasons why is because there's a part in the movie where it shows us he got pushed to the edge to kill someone, and that's why he kills people, because of this one guy who did something so terrible that he didn't even know what to do, and it made his mind snap, and that makes sense. That's understandable, and I really, really do think that he is a good example of a real life superhero. Number 7, Captain America. Really, there's actually nothing for me to really say. I mean, it's Captain America. I live in America. I'm from America. But let me go a little bit more deeper into it. The first time I saw Captain America again was in Spider-Man the Animated Series. It's when I was introduced to him in the Secret Wars, those episodes, and I really started liking him. I liked his idea of like, oh, it's Captain America. I like the shield and everything. And then I saw the movies, and I was like, wow, I really like this character. And then I read up a little bit on some of his most best moments in comics, and I even saw the Avengers show. That was actually and not the Marvel's Avengers. I mean like the Avengers, like, together as one. If you remember that theme song, like that show was like amazing. Okay, like that show's old, but it's like amazing. It's I don't remember when it came out. It was like early 2000 something, but it was a really good show. But yeah, Captain America is Captain America. He is the captain, and yeah, I just like the patriotism and all that good stuff. So yeah, Captain America. My number 6 is Wolverine. This is my first anti-hero on the list. Wolverine, yes, he will cut you to shreds. He will kill you. That's what those damn claws are for. But I like Wolverine even before I saw like the movies and stuff. I remember I watched again another character that I saw from Spider-Man the animated series was Wolverine, and then I even watched that made me watch the X-Men TV shows, the old X-Men. But yeah, that was a good show too. And then I started watching the movies, and I was like, wow, like I really love this character. I love like how how deep his character can be, and that's actually like with all these characters. I love how how comic books can really like, even movies or TV shows can really go in, if when they go in depth of a character and they really like show that character's heart and motivation. And to see Wolverines, it's painful. This guy lives for hundreds of years. He can't die, and he just sees people he loves just die off because he can't die. And there have been moments in comics where he just wants to be like, just fucking kill me already because I can't deal with this anymore. It's stressful. It's kind of like it's like a curse to be alive forever. And on a more positive note, I just love the claw thing. I think one of my favorite things he does with his claws is when he like flicks you off with his middle finger. Really funny stuff. I love his attitude. I love his he's a bestiality character. He just runs at you and claws you up. But yeah, I really like this character, man. Even though he will kill you, because I'm more of a person who prefers, a hero who does not kill. But Wolverine is an exception to that rule. Coming up at my number 5 is another anti-hero, Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, wow. Okay, the first time I saw Ghost Rider was when I watched the old, not the amazing Incredible Hulk live action TV show. I mean the old animated Hulk where he first meets Ghost Rider. And that's when I saw the Ghost Rider movie and then, the other movie. And then I played the game for the PS2 and the PSP, and I just love, and so that's not a lot to go off of to like the character, but I played him in Ultimate Alliance, he's been in other games before, and I just love his whole character arc. I love Johnny Blaze, he is, I like the concept, man. It's a great concept for a comic book. His father has cancer. He wants his father to not die. The devil comes to him and offers him this deal, and he agrees to it. And he sells his soul, but then the devil says, "Fuck you, I'm still going to kill him." He kills him, and later he becomes the Ghost Rider, and he has to deal with this curse and this burden. And, and I love his design, He's the skull and the head on fire. He rides the motorcycle like a biker, like gang badass. Like the leather jacket and the spikes on him. Like, I just love his look. I love his attitude. The penance stare when he just grabs you. He's like, "Look into my eyes." Like, I just love it. It's so threatening. It's so makes you kind of afraid like, oh my gosh, this guy, I hope this guy don't look into my soul, because it's, and I love the idea with the penance there. All the bad things you ever done in your life to other people is reflected onto you. That power in it of itself is just amazing, and I just love this whole character arc. Even though a lot of people say that he's a basic, simple character, there's not too much depth into him, which I can agree to an extent. I think, it is a good story, of him dealing with the curse and him trying to do right in the world with this spirit of vengeance that he possesses now. Coming up at my number 4 is Daredevil. I first saw Daredevil in Spider-Man, the animated series, wouldn't you know it. When I first saw Daredevil, I really loved the design of him. I love the horns. He's just all red, even though I know his original costume was yellow and red-yellow or whatever, or yellow-red. It was one of those two. But I loved it. I loved the whole design. The batons, the fact that he's blind and he can't see, but he can use, sound to see, which I love the whole concept, the idea of it. And I love when I was watching the show how I got the backstory of Matt Murdock. And Matt Murdock is actually one of those characters where I love both the identities. I love the Matt Murdock identity of him being a lawyer and having a real life, and then his Daredevil career, his superhero life. And I love, and that's one of the things I love about the Daredevil series. And one of my favorite scenes in the Daredevil series, if I had to give you one, was the part in the hallway in season 1, I think it was episode 2, at the end, where he's just fighting all of these guys in one take, mind you. And the scene was incredible. And I just I really loved Daredevil, and I loved the team up in that TV series. Coming up at my number 3 is the Bat himself, Batman. Batman, I first saw Batman watching the Batman TV show, and then I saw the animated series, and I always preferred a younger Batman. I'm one of those people who prefer a younger Batman, because I feel like he is more of a man. He makes more mistakes. When he's older, you know, he kind of knows what he's doing. He's damn near invincible because he's like 12 steps ahead of everybody. That's why I prefer the younger Batman. You know, in his like 20s, 30s. But when he gets to his 40s, 50s, part of me is like, I'm done. He's too good already. Batman, the reason why I love Batman is because Batman, the concept, the idea with Batman is he's just a man in a costume, and you know, Batman could be anybody, and that's why I really like Batman, because again, just a man in a costume with his gizmos and gadgets and tech, and without all that, all he's got is his martial arts training and his detective work. He's very smart. He's a very smart person. He knows what he's doing. And, I mean, it's Batman. Who doesn't love Batman? My number 2 is Superman. Now, when I was a younger person, like when I was like 5, 10 years old, Batman was my number 2. He used to be my number 2. He used to be my favorite superhero of DC. But as I grew up, as I preferred a different style, I was looking more towards a lighter character in the DC. A lot of people found that in Flash, but I found that in Superman. He's a classic character. He's like one of the very first superheroes ever made in a comic book, you know? It's Superman. You know, he can fly, he can just pick things up that he shouldn't be able to. His strength is just unimaginable. Like there's no limit. He has no limits. The laser beams, like sometimes I even make jokes about about how mad I get about laser beams just coming out of my eyes. You know, I love the whole idea, you know, of him saving everyone just because it's the right thing to do, like the classic superhero of all good type of hero. And that's why I love Superman. That's why Superman is my number 2. The reason why Batman doesn't get my number 1 as my favorite DC character anymore is because, even though he's my number 2, is because it just grew off of me. I just kind of got Batmaned out, and I just was looking for something different and something more on the light side, and that's why Superman is my number 2. And if it wasn't obvious already, you guys should already know by now, my number 1 superhero is Spider-Man. The reason why he's my number 1 superhero is because he is the very first superhero that I ever watched on TV, on movies, comic books, everything. He's the one who introduced me to a lot of these superheroes, to a lot of these other characters. And without him, I probably wouldn't be the person I am today. When I was growing up, I didn't really have a father figure in my life, and that's why I prefer a Spider-Man who's in like his 20s, you know, who's an adult, because I was looking for a father figure at that time at a very young age, around 5, and my dad wasn't really there for me, so I had to find someone else, and a fictional character became a father figure to me, and it was Spider-Man. And I learned that with great power comes great responsibility, and because I have the power, for example, to make these videos. It's what I do with these videos, it's what I do with my power, the abilities that I have for the greater good, for doing the right thing. And, you know, that's why I really love Spider-Man. That's why he's my favorite superhero, is because it doesn't matter how hard he gets hit, or how much the pain, or how excruciating it is. And that's why, like, one of my favorite comic book of all time, my favorite Spider-Man comic book of all time is the one where he's trapped under the rubble and he's got to lift up the debris to save Aunt May. and you know and it was hard for him. It was very hard. He had to push it over his limit, and he almost blacked out and everything, and it showed a true test of strength. And you know, that's why, like, another thing I learned is no matter how hard it gets, you keep trying, you keep going, because eventually you'll make it. You can do it. And that's why he's my favorite superhero. He encourages me to push harder. He encourages me to not give up. And that is why he is my favorite superhero of all time. And without him, like I said, I would not be the person I am today. And I'm really grateful for that. And I'm happy that I love superheroes. I'm happy that I find inspiration in them, because without them, I would be a possibly different person than I am. Anyway, guys, that was my top 10 favorite superheroes. Let me know what your top 10 favorite is. And until then, guys, I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.